Sunday night game with Bobby's Patriots, of course, then the 2 Monday nighters, and then we'll be on our way. So the first game, Bengals and Seahawks, and this was a double touchdown, but barely.
Yeah, this game.
To eke this one out.
This game had me sweating bullets because we both picked the Seahawks in our survivor picks.
Yeah, this was the most common survivor, I believe, in the whole thing. So I was sweating as well. My brother's like, it's not as much as a lock as you think it was. And here's the thing that really gets me about this game. Dalton threw for over 400 yards somehow in Seattle, which I don't understand how this took place. John Ross had almost 160 yards and 2 touchdowns. Where has that been for his whole career? Right. And then the Bengals outgained the Seahawks by over 200 yards almost, 429 to 233. Bullock misses a field goal, which ends up being the difference in saving our asses. And the Seahawks win by 1 point.
It was really ugly on Seattle's part, in my opinion. The fact that this defense allowed Andy Dalton and his mediocre self to pass for 400 yards.
In their own building.
In Seattle. The 12th man, I guess, did not get to him.
No.
My takeaway on this, I'm going to agree, is John Ross. Where the hell have you been the past couple of years? He had the fastest 40 time in NFL history at the Combine, and they still didn't know how to put that in their offense. Now they found it out of nowhere with no A.J. Green. And I'm going to say this. I think without A.J. Green, I think they're going to be okay. I really do.
Well, that's a hot
This
take.
offense did really well. And this is an offense, too, that lost Joe Mixon due to an injury. But by the way, he's okay. He'll be playing.
That's good for them.
But Seattle's defense, I'm extremely disgusted with the performance you put on.
This was horrible.
Andy Dalton should be picked off 5 times.
At least 2
you
or
guys
3.
should be eating his lunch.
And he ate yours.
Yeah, he stole your lunch in your building, in your backyard, in your schoolyard.
Yeah,
Come on.
We were definitely wrong about how this is going to play out in a lot of senses.
You guys got bullied by a nerd. Come on, man.
And the Seahawks offense was really just unimpressive. I don't even want to talk about it. There's really not much to say. They really just didn't have much going that day. So I'm going to move on from this. They should too, and hopefully they play better next week. But Colts and Bolts, Chargers. This was an interesting, entertaining game.
What a game.
This one had a lot of tosses and turns going. We have the storyline, obviously, that we've talked about for weeks now. Jacoby Brissett stepping up and taking the place of Andrew Luck. He played admirably. Marlon Mack, 174 yards. He was a dog, and I had a good feeling for Mack. 1 touchdown as well. He was going in. T.Y. Hilton had 2 touchdowns doing his thing. But my main takeaway from this game is neither of them. Austin Eckler, is this his coming out party? 158 yards, 3 touchdowns, including the game winner. Phillip Rivers also had 3 touchdowns. So is this team showing they don't need Melvin Gordon? Is this going to make things tougher for Gordon in his contract negotiations? His replacement just ran for, yards from scrimmage, didn't just run, receiving, rushing, obviously. Over 150 and 3 touchdowns. That can't look too good on Melvin Gordon.
Well, I think it's going to have Melvin Gordon scratching his head and really worried because Austin Eckler proved against a very solid defense, I may add, in the Indianapolis Colts, that he could be the guy. And he won the game for them the other day. He was unstoppable. And we know what he could do. Last year, you've seen the past couple of years, they split the carries between Melvin Gordon and Eckler, and they both do damage. In my personal opinion, I think the Chargers are a much better team with Melvin Gordon than without. But the one thing I'm going to take away is Jacoby Brissett answered the call. He played absolutely tremendous. He did just what he had to do. The offensive line of the Colts is the best in football. It really is. He stands back there. I saw a video of Melvin Ingram, one of their best pass rushers, I may add, for the Chargers, get completely bitched and knocked so hard on his ass, I think he got knocked into week 15 by Quentin Nelson.
He might have to toe an audible right there.
It was a huge hit.
Is Nelson the best lineman in the NFL?
Yes.
Are we going with that already?
Yes, he is. He is the best.
And I think he's already making his claim.
He is the best lineman
I
in the
think
NFL.
He might be too. It's incredible. What a steal that was for the Colts. And everything like you said. Brissett did what he had to. I mean, he was 21 to 27, just under 200 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's the formula for the Colts to win football games. And they were in position to win. win, but your defense gave up just a little bit too much. They let Eckler do a little too much. Rivers had his way with them too, so that is going to be that. And the Colts go down in overtime.
All I'm going to say real quick with that is that Marlon Mack proved that he is the real deal. He really is.
Yeah,
and they made the right decision not going after a top back and staying with him. He's going to be good for a long time.
For sure. And this other game was very interesting as well. The other overtime game, Lions and Cardinals, and this ends in the dreaded tie. And we were head-to-head in this one as well, so I don't even know what you call this. I call it a botch snap because no one won, no one lost. So I don't even know. It's like a game of 0, I guess.
Yeah,
it's not a touchdown or audible. Well, I guess sort of an audible, but it's definitely not a TD.
It was really a bad performance by Kyler Murray in the first half, and then the second half he just proved why he's the first overall pick. He was dynamic in the second half. He really turned it around after having only 70 yards all together in the first half. He just turns it around in the second half. Larry Fitzgerald making plays for him. David Johnson getting back into it. I know fantasy owners will love that. And you know what? They can and that 2-point conversion that they converted, by the way, tremendous. But I'm going to tell you this. I noticed something with the Lions. The man, Matthew Stafford's getting very angry because I saw where he was yelling on the sideline, trust me, with the play calling when you could have had him throw the ball and you guys decided to run. He's starting to get frustrated. You don't want that.
No, you don't.
That's going to be a problem. Yep, Matt Patricia, you got a problem on your hands. You got to figure it out. I know it's only week 1, but the next 15 weeks, you better keep that man happy because he could be a very disgruntled superstar, and you're definitely not going to want that because without him, you guys are nothing.
Sounds like typical Lions to me. And Hawkinson was a big takeaway from this Lions team. How about the TJ Hawkinson coming out party? His first ever game, 130 yards and a touchdown. He is going to be a force for this Lions team, and I think he's going to buck the trends of their bad tight ends. I think they finally found a legitimate tight end. Obviously, we've talked about how Ebron got better once he left them, but I think they finally got their guy. TJ Hawkinson is a legit tight end 1, and he showed it in the first game against the Cardinals. Great outing from him. Stafford hitting him where it needs to be hit. Murray, like you said, 9-25 to start the first 3 quarters, but fourth quarter he woke up 20-29, showing what he was about, and he really almost led the Cardinals to victory. The Lions were up 17-6, and they could not hold on, of course. They ended up tying the game. So, typical Lions fashion. That was just like, that game was going to be sloppy. We knew something crazy was going to happen, but a tie? Come on, guys. Be better than that.
Yeah, I hate ties in football.
Ties suck. Like, we'll just win the game or lose the game. God damn it. I don't want a fucking tie.
Can the NFL please just
get rid of ties?
Get rid of ties, please. Just come up with another thing, please.
Do you think they should put the overtime back to 15 minutes? Do you think they should? Or do you like it at 10?
No, I want 15. I want a full quarter.
It's all because they're concerned about player safety and stuff, but really, what's 5 minutes going to do? I want to see a win or loss. I mean, it has happened before with 15 minutes that they still get tied, obviously, but it definitely makes it less likely if you add more time. Any idiot can figure that out.
I think if you add the 5 minutes, and this is what you need to do. You need to make it 15 minutes, and if there's still a tie, you need to do like they do in college, yes.
Or maybe make them go for 2, just like jazz it up a little bit. Yeah, I don't want to see. No one wants to see a fucking tie.
That's what draws more fans. Is make it interesting. Do something you haven't done before.
Especially a game like Lions, Cardinals, when you know it's not 2 very good teams. The tie is just so
0-0-1 to start the year.
So
disgusting.
Annoying. It's sickening. So next up, speaking of sickening stuff, if you're a Giants fan, that game against the Cowboys was tough to watch.
Oh, my God. I'll tell you this.
That's a double touchdown for us. Yep. I mean, we saw this one coming.
Saquon Barkley does what he does best and get in the end zone and just make plays. That guy's an absolute stud.
He is. He's good. Yeah.
All I'm going to say about this game is Saquon Barkley. Other than that, I'm disgusted with everybody. I still think Eli should not be starting. It should be Daniel Jones.
Oh, you would play Jones right now?
Yes. I would play Jones right now. But anyway, the Cowboys played tremendous, played their hearts out. Dak Prescott shut everybody up.
That's my takeaway from this game.
He's playing for a contract. He wants that paper. He wants to secure the bag.
I think he's going to get it soon.
And you know what? He showed Jerry Jones, give me that paper.
He had not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 touchdowns. and over 400 yards. He missed about like 5 or 6 passes only. He was incredible. Honestly, Dak Prescott, he did what he had to do. He made light work of the Giants, 35-17. Really, this game was never in doubt. Ingram had over 100 yards as well, but it's all about the star, baby. And Michael Gallup had a breakout performance, 158 yards from him. So could this be something sustainable? I do remember saying he was a breakout candidate for me. If we could play those tapes back.
Yeah.
I did say that.
Yes, you did. Michael Gallup came out of nowhere. He broke out.
He's a burner. That's why I like him.
He could play very well. They had these high hopes for him when they drafted him. And you're going to see a lot of that this year. I think Amari Cooper played absolutely tremendous.
He did his thing.
That first-round pick, DeAndre Baker, couldn't cover if it was.
Yeah,
he was terrible against Amari Cooper. I know it's his first game.
That's a tough matchup. The first
it
game
really is, but that secondary, it's bad.
Yeah. It's the Giants' secondary not as good as we thought, because I thought that was the strength of the football team. And
it's a weakness.
It's not a good sign when Dak Prescott throws for 400 yards against you. Let's just put it that way.
I'm sorry,
in light terms.
When you get rid of Landon Collins and you replace him with Jabril Peppers, that's a complete downgrade. I'm sorry, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Jabril Peppers cannot be in the same category.
He hasn't done enough yet.
No, as Landon Collins. I'm sorry.
He has to prove a lot.
And Jack Rabbit, I'm sorry, I don't see it anymore.
I didn't see it from anyone out there.
This defense is a disgusting. They really
no
need
pressure on the quarterback.
No pass rush, no coverage, no nothing. It was terrible. Pat Shurmur, you got a lot of work to do, my friend. You got a lot of work to do. Yeah. And Gettleman, the fact that you still have a job just baffles me.
Yeah, that's going to be something to watch. Next week they play the Bills, so that's going to be an interesting matchup. But we'll move on. Another game that will have a disgusting performance, and this is a double audible for us. 49ers and Bucks, and Jameis Winston is an absolute train wreck. The guy throws 2 pick sixes. Richard Sherman, I believe Witherspoon gets the other one. This is just an uninspiring game. The only takeaway I have from the Bucs that's positive is Ronald Jones, because this be his coming out party. 13 carries, 75 yards. Does Bruce Arians going to be able to unlock Ronald Jones, as we talked about in the podcast before the season started? And I think he might be able to. This is a great sign. I want to see more of this. I want to get him more involved. Peyton Barber should be an afterthought. The dude is a scrub. He's not a relevant player. Get Ronald Jones involved. You drafted him in the second round for a reason. He's not supposed to be the backup to a journeyman running back.
No, he's not. And you know what? Jameis Winston, you know what? When they hired Bruce Arians to be the head coach, I thought that you would see a lot of improvement. I did not see any improvement.
We saw the same old shit.
I think Jameis Winston really is a terrible quarterback.
I'm sorry. Hotter and hotter and hotter.
I think Tampa, I know it's week 1, it's overreaction.
Listen, definitely overreaction.
In the next 5 to 6 weeks, I'll be saying the same thing. The guy is a train wreck. He's god-awful.
He's hideous
now. He's been nothing but a headache for this franchise.
No.
A franchise that I respect. The city of Tampa is my favorite city in the world.
You'll be there.
In the United States, of course. Yep, I'm moving down there. But anyway, it's really upsetting for that. They really going to have to evaluate the quarterback position. It just was not there.
Not at all.
For Tampa, it just wasn't. Jimmy Garoppolo comes back. On offense, I'll tell you this, a lot of his weapons didn't do well. Marquise Goodwin, 1 catch, 7 yards. Dante Pettis, 1 catch, 7 yards. Debo Samuel, 3 catches, 17 yards, and he fumbles the ball.
Kittle was a little quiet, too.
Yeah, it's just was a sloppy game altogether.
Yeah.
It was a disgusting performance. And you know what? You would think that you would see...
Garoppolo threw a pick 6 as well.
Yeah, and this game is just so disgusting. This was another one during the highlights. I was rolling my eyes the whole time.
Yeah.
It's just a disgust. Both teams really got to figure it out. But the one bright side for the 49ers is Richard Sherman had a great game. The defense, I think, could be a strength for them. And if Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't play up to par and doesn't play the way he should be, maybe that defense could help him out. Maybe. We'll see. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm really excited for Ronald Jones. But other than that, I didn't take much from this game, honestly. It just wasn't there for either team. It's not like the 49ers won this game. I feel like the Bucs lost this game more than the 49ers
I agree, 100%.
I mean, the Bucs outgained them. The Bucs are classic at doing this. They outgain their opponent, yet they find a way to lose 295 to 256. So another day, another Tampa loss that they shot themselves in the foot. So they're going to have to get better. Jameis is going to have to get a lot better. Otherwise, he won't have a job pretty soon.
Agreed. Yep, and Ronald Jones, to go back on that just real fast, I think he's due for a breakout, and he'll show why the Buccaneers shouldn't sleep on him, because he could be a future asset.
Hopefully next week he continues to build on it. But moving forward, all right, here's your moment. I know you've been waiting for this one. This is a huge audible by me. I deserve to smear egg on my face. I got to eat some humble pie on this one. The Steelers, they did not even bother to show up in Foxborough. Their bodies were there, but their minds, their hearts, their souls, their spirits, I think they got left on the team playing, honestly. This was an utter embarrassment of a game. The Steelers lose by 30 freaking points, 33-3. There's not even anything to talk about with the Steelers. It was a disgusting performance. The Patriots and Brady, of course, he has 3 touchdowns like normal, 340 yards. My one takeaway was Philip Dorsett with 2 touchdowns and almost 100 was pretty surprising. Josh Gordon getting back in on the act. Of course, there's the whole Brown situation. So, what did you see? Not really what you saw. What didn't you see from the Steelers' offense? Why was their execution so pathetic and shitty?
Well, I'm going to contribute this to 2 things. One, I think that team misses that deep threat of Antonio Brown. I really do. I think AB, even though it was a huge headache, and now that he's a Patriot and he's going through a big predicament now, being accused of a sexual assault, and yeah, it's a circus. We'll get back. We don't even need to talk about it that much.
No, yeah.
But I think they miss him. I really do. And
could be.
They miss that playmaker on offense, and I'm not trying to disrespect Juju Smith-Schuster. That guy could ball. He was the only one showing up.
Yeah.
He had 6 catches for 78 yards. He was the only person who put his heart and soul all over the place on offense for the Steelers. Another part is the Patriots' defense is what we all thought it is.
You guys have a great defense. But it's 3 fucking points. You guys do better than that.
It's the Patriots' defense is going to be scary. They did not sack the quarterback. They got pressure, but covering the receivers. And Julian, I think you could agree with me on this. Patriots secondary is arguably one of the best in football.
Yeah,
it's so deep. All the guys can cover. Stephon Gilmore had a great game. Juju did have 4 catches, 48 yards in coverage against Gilmore, but other than that
ain't shit. Who cares?
No, he did nothing. Took him out of the game. Other than that, everybody else was non-existent. The one thing I'm happy about is I thought James Conner could do well. No, we took him out of the ball.
That was the surprising thing to me. That was probably my biggest surprise. I could see the passing game without AB struggling, but the James Conner doing nothing is pretty stunning to me.
Yeah, I will go with the Patriots offense. Tom Brady shut everybody up again. Yep. His arm strength, he made a throw to Edelman that he really missed. After that, what did he do? He was lights out. Tom Brady came to play. It was a 6-banner drop. And Josh Gordon, I love it. Getting into the end zone. He showed that this guy is back to normal. He's happy. You could see he's really excited. And they could not tackle this man. I'm sorry. They could not cover him. They could not tackle him. Edelman ran all over the place. My one downfall for the Patriots offense is that Sony Michel had a terrible game. 15 carries, 14 yards. The line really struggled. We did have an injury with right tackle Marcus Cannon going out. He is at practice today. He has a shoulder injury. We did sign Marshall Newhouse for depth reasons. But the one thing with the Patriots is, you add Antonio Brown, and if he's able to play with the legal issue, he's not put on the exempt list, which I hope he isn't. The Patriots offense is the best in football. I'm sorry it is. Because now you just gave Tom Brady. Tom Brady put up 30 points without AB. Just imagine how many they could score with him in the lineup.
Yeah.
And the Steelers defense, I'm sorry, is god trash. It's terrible.
Yeah. I mean, the Steelers defense is obviously a lot worse than I thought it was, even though it's only 1 week. So maybe they'll correct it. They'll clean it up. We're going to have to see what they do. But we'll move forward. Monday night, how about that Texans-Saints game? This was the best game of the week, probably. And this
Absolutely.
Had tosses and turns. This was dramatic. Saints ends up winning 30-28. I was off by 1 point with my prediction of 30-27. But here's my big takeaway from this. Watson's going to end up getting killed. I have a bunch of numbers on Watson, and it's not pretty with the defensive line. He took 6 sacks, 10 hits. He was pressured 45% of his dropbacks. He played a great game, though, despite all that. He really did his thing out there, but it just wasn't enough, unfortunately. Drew Brees with 370, 2 touchdowns. Michael Thomas well over 100 yards. DeAndre Hopkins pulled down 2 touchdowns. And then the Texans' rushing attack really surprised me. And we talked about that question without Lamar Miller. How would they respond? How would they answer the bell? They ran for 180 yards, and Carlos Hyde led the way with 80. I didn't even know he was on the Texans before the game started, and he ends up being the leading rusher. So go figure.
This game, I'll tell you this, I do agree. Well, the one thing that the Texans did is they tried to upgrade that line with Laramie Tunsil. Obviously, it didn't work because getting sacked 6 times, pressured 40% of his dropbacks. That's pathetic. You want to get your franchise quarterback destroyed and hurt like the past? You better figure something out. But I will say this. DeAndre Hopkins is a freak of nature. That guy catches everything. His route running is just stellar. I think him and AB, Antonio Brown, and Julio Jones are the 3 best route runners in football. They really are. Yeah, and the one thing you saw in this game is, did you see DeAndre Hopkins suplex somebody?
Oh yes, I did. That was incredible.
It was funny. Shit. I was at a wrestling event at Madison Square Garden with our buddy Joey, and shout out the Angle. Give it a follow.
There you go.
So I showed him while we were at wrestling. I'm like, wow, they should have the. We both said, wow, he should be here doing that right now. But the one thing I will say about this game is that the Texans proved they could be a very good team. Their defense. My one takeaway. J.J. Watt was out of the stats.
Yes,
he wasn't even involved.
That is a huge one.
115 games with at least scoring a tackle or a quarterback hit. This game, he had nothing.
Wasn't it like your first time since his rookie year, year 2, this took place?
Yep.
That's actually a really concerning sign for the Texans. Is the Texans' defense going to suffer without Jadeveon Clowney more than they thought? It looks like it. They looked lost without him against the Saints. That last minute was frantic. You had back and forth scores. Lutz hits a field goal. Saints are up 27-21. Watson goes down on 2 passes. I'm not even kidding you. 2 passes. He goes to Hopkins. He goes to Stills. And then the Texans are up 28-27 after Fairback made the extra point, after he missed the extra point, after a penalty. This was just a crazy game. And then the Saints go down. They get in field goal range for Will Lutz. My question is, why were these defenses playing so soft? They were playing prevent defense. You know what prevent does? It prevents you from winning the game.
Yeah, that was very questionable to me as well. I don't know why. I will say this, Deshaun Watson delivered when he needed to. It just wasn't enough because the defense just couldn't stop the Saints. Kenny Stills, I'm going to adds a different dynamic to this team, too.
Yeah, that's a big takeaway.
The receiving core for this team is
so deep with Kenny Stills now.
Yep, Kenny Stills, Nuke Hopkins, and Will Fuller. 3 guys that could just stretch a deep. It's scary.
And then you got QT still. I mean, the Texans have weapons, and the running backs obviously are better than we thought as well, as they ran for all that yardage.
And can catch the ball very well.
So maybe Lamar Miller won't be missed. So the next game, I got to take the L on this one. It's an audible for me.
I told you.
Bobby gets a big touchdown here. He ends the week, and Bobby wins week 1 over me. So again, he's picking up where he left off from last year. But Broncos-Raiders, Broncos had no energy. It looked like they were playing dead the whole night. 24-16 Raiders. And I think the Raiders, like you said, really rallied at the point about AB finally being gone. They took that and they used that as motivation, and the team played inspired football without him. You look at Tyrell Williams, and he's a beneficiary of this. Over 100 yards and a touchdown. Josh Jacobs doing his thing. 2 touchdowns, 100 all-purpose yards. He was phenomenal in his first game ever. So here's the thing. Can this be sustainable? Do you think it was just a high because they were playing without AB and they were just hyped to shut everybody up? Also, their line gives up no sacks. That was very surprising to me against the Broncos' vaunted defense.
Well, to start off, if you heard the Raiders fans, if you heard their chants that they were saying on Monday night, they were rallying they were happy to get AB out of town. And they rallied, and I knew. I've seen this before. I've seen this movie before. John Gruden rallied his troops, showed everybody they don't need them, and they could do very, very well. So, The one thing I will say is Tyrell Williams proved he could be a wide receiver one for this team. Derek Carr did absolutely tremendous. He was absolutely phenomenal. He had only 4 incompletions, 22 for 26.
Yeah.
He did have 1 touchdown. That's okay. Josh Jacobs proved that he could be a huge asset. He was drafted one of the best running backs in college, and he showed you why, what he could bring to this team. So with this, one person we did not talk about, Darren Waller. This guy is underrated. Their tight end. He is something special. I agree with John Gruden. The one thing I will say is the Broncos defense did not show up. It was not there. The pass rush you thought was there. It was not. Joe Flacco sucks. I'm sorry, he does.
He was uninspiring.
I don't care where you put him. I don't care what weapons you give him. The guy sucks.
He was just okay.
And the only person who came to play, in my opinion, was Emmanuel Sanders, as he always does. He did have a touchdown.
Sutton, too. He played pretty well.
Well, yeah.
Other than that, yeah, Philip Lindsay was not really there.
It was, I'm telling you.
Royce Freeman actually outgained Philip Lindsay. That was a little surprising.
Yeah, that is something surprising. But all in all, I knew after the AB situation, everything they dealt with in the summer, the huge headache, they get rid of him, and they showed they could win without him, and that's exactly what they did. They start the season out 1-0, and they're showing teams that they could find ways to win ball games.
Yeah, so that's our takeaway from week 1. The Raiders had a surprising win. I go down again. What else is new? I got to get back in it, man. It's been a tough stretch for me. Hopefully next week I can win the touchdown audible game. This week I was not lucky enough to do that. So next week, the next time you hear from us, will be our previews. We'll be going through our predictions. We'll give a few inside previews for the teams that we follow closely.
Yep.
Local market teams. Maybe Falcons, Eagles as well, because I feel that's a big game. So for GMT Sports Talk, I'm Julian Gallardi.
I'm Bobby Thompson.
Follow, like, subscribe, sponsor. Everyone knows the drill. We'll see everyone soon. Thanks for listening.